Hello there, music fans. I'm here to talk about my favorite bands that start with the letter R today. And jumping right into my favorite, it would be Rush. This is their album Moving Pictures, which is my favorite of theirs, but they have a lot of great albums. I like pretty much all their albums. Their first album's kind of more of a hard rock album, which I really like, and then they move into progressive rock for a while, and then in the 80s they kind of uh, in the later 80s they move away from being as progressive. They focus more on synthesizers. In the 90s they got a bit of the alternative and grunge influence in there and just kind of became a hard rock band. Then they kind of went back to progressive rock with 2007 Snakes and Arrows. My favorite album is Moving Pictures from 1981, but everything between their first one and that is really great, and even the next two after that are great. Their later career I don't like as much, but it's still great. And there's five more other bands that I want to mention that start with the letter R, and they're all really different today. So each band sounds very different from each other. Not really, none of them are similar to each other really at all. There's some similarities between them, but they're all very distinct. And I really think that everybody will at least like one of these bands. If you don't like any single one of them, then I don't even. I don't know. I don't know how that's even possible. There's probably going to be at least one band on this list here for you. The number two band for me that starts with the letter R is Rollo Tomasi, and they are a mathcore band from the UK. They've got influences from prog, experimental stuff, post-hardcore, very kind of spastic stuff like the Dillinger Escape Plan, for fans of that. But the twist here is it's a female-fronted band, fronted by Eva, what's her name? Eva Corman? Yeah. Um, and she can do really, really intense screams as well as beautiful singing, which is great. Jumping on to my number three pick, which is also a female fronted band, but this time instead of mathcore, it's progressive metal. This would be Red Handed Denial. They're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. They're progressive metal for fans of bands like Protest the Hero, but they also bring in a little bit of the gent influence for fans of Periphery, Tesseract. So they got a little gent, metalcore, maybe post-hardcore influence, a little bit of like a, maybe even like a emo pop punk kind of Paramore style in the early days, in their earlier songs. But yeah, really great band. Three more to go through. Now the next three, they're not metal at all, and they're not really prog. So these are more on the rock side. We've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is a funk rock band or alternative rock. Their earlier stuff was almost like rap rock. Really cool band. And then we've got Rise Against. They're a punk rock band. I call them punk rock. Wikipedia says melodic hardcore, punk rock, and hardcore punk. I guess, yeah, they have the hardcore influences in there because they scream a bit, but their stuff's pretty tame. It's like on the radio now. I think some of their earlier stuff was a bit more on the hardcore side, but their later stuff's almost like pop punk. It's very accessible, radio friendly punk rock. Pretty catchy stuff, really great vocal melodies. Yeah, cool band. And last one that I'm going to mention today is, of course, Radiohead, the art rock band. Yeah, they're influenced by, I don't know what they're influenced by actually. They've got some alternative vibes in there and some electronic vibes. They're very experimental. They've made lots of great albums. I'm trying to remember what my favorite of theirs would be. I think The Bends and OK Computer, their second and third album, are really great. But all of their albums are at least decent. I wasn't as big on The King of Limbs. That was a little bit too far in the experimental electronic side for me. I like more of their rock sound than their electronic sound, although I do like the electronic stuff too, and I like it mixed in there. I like their experimental stuff. Something about The King of Limbs, I just didn't like that as much. And that's it for me for bands that start with the letter R that I recommend you check out. I'm sure there's other great bands that start with R that I forgot to mention, but that's it for today. In the next video, I'll talk about bands that start with the letter S, and there's a lot of them. So peace out.